So you can pet cats in Hogwarts Legacy, but don't let that turn you away from just how evil you can get in this game or how dangerous you can become. For example, by doing something like this. Yes, that was just a fire tornado and it looks absolutely insane. Now, shout out to Benjamin Snow for sharing this on Twitter. Now, curiosity is rewarded in this game, and of course the most notable feature of Hogwarts Legacy is that you can sway your character towards the dark side, and that your character can basically learn how to do that until their heart's content. So, here are 4 very horrible things that you can do in Hogwarts Legacy. Now, we are going to start with Incendio. Now, Incendio is basically a strong flame spell that you can use on enemies, and of course from this clip, it seems like you may be able to turn the heat up a little bit more-ish. In a nutshell, in case you have not figured out already, yes, you do set enemies on fire. Now, just a random thought, I imagine it can be used on anyone for the most part, as of course you need to turn to the dark side one way or another, right? So using it on just enemies wouldn't actually do that, but leave your thoughts on that in the comment section below. Now, next up is Crucio. Now, I'm not sure which is worse out of this and another one that I'll be mentioning shortly, but this basically just deals damage over time to the enemies, so it's basically a way for you to give the enemy a very slow and painful experience, I guess you could say. But next is Petrificus Totalis. Now, it basically petrifies your opponent, and me even saying that still sounds a little bit subtle, because I'm not talking in the way that it just, you know, makes your character a little bit scared to where they basically just jump out of their skin. No, it basically snaps their arms and legs together, and they cannot move. They are literally just there, and they get to still feel, hear, and even think. And also see. So with all of that stuff combined, you can see just how evil that spell is. But next is Confringo. Now, this is very extreme, because what this does is it causes your enemy to explode. It's basically on par, kind of, or just on a more brutal scale, I guess you could say, than Avada Kedavra, which, as we all know, instantly kills your opponent. But this, on the other hand, as I said, is basically just the extreme version of doing that. Now, just a side note, this game does not include a morality system, okay? So with that in mind, smaller actions and the spells you cast won't constantly influence or automatically determine whether you are good or evil. Instead, various quest lines and how you explore these ultimately help you decide that route for the most part. Just, well, I say you, but you kind of know how evil or good you're going to be, right? But as far as the game's concerned, it's basically tallied up over various different things in the game. Now remember, being evil in this game does actually make you have a total different experience, because the ending in this game will vary based on how you behave throughout the game. Now, even though the way you play the game and the spells you basically use help shape whether you're going to be good or evil, without a morality system, as I say, it's very difficult to technically turn to the dark side completely. Now, I did say at the start of this video that curiosity is rewarded, and sometimes you will not be prompted to do things, though I imagine it does actually vary based on the difficulty you select. But for example, a few fun spells in this game are, for instance, Reparo, which is sort of self-explanatory, but it basically repairs objects. So for example, if you break a bridge, you can actually repair it, and it's small gameplay features like this that do make your gameplay experience completely different. Now, more recently, this game has had a few concerns. For example, one of the concerns were that NPCs would ultimately be standing there doing nothing. Now, from all the gameplay that we have seen, of course being released today, as well as all the information that we know so far, it seems very clear that that's not going to be the case. I really believe the way you experience this world is going to vary totally based on how you decide to play it. That's very, very evident. And from all of the information that has been released, it also does more or less confirm that you can interact with NPCs a lot more than you actually think you will be able to do so, which again is a very big pro in my books. Now, if you're going to be playing this game on PlayStation, there seems to be a lot of confusion as to whether or not if you're going to be purchasing the PlayStation 4 physical disc version of the game, if it will allow you to upgrade basically to the digital version on PlayStation 5. Now, in a nutshell, the PlayStation 4 physical disc version of Hogwarts Legacy does not include a free upgrade to the PlayStation 5 digital version. But as I say, there seems to be some confusion around this, but a Reddit user actually posted the following. So they said that they were trying to search for a definitive answer as to whether the physical disc version for the PlayStation 4 version of this game would entitle them for a free upgrade to the PlayStation 5 digital version. And the way they said that is that they're just assuming that if they insert the PlayStation 4 disc into the PlayStation 5 disc console, then of course some games allow it, etc., but they understand that it's up to the game developer. Now, in a nutshell, they did reach out to WB Games, as again, there is no information technically out there that clearly states that this is going to be the case, but what WB Games had to say to this was the following. So they said that unfortunately cross-generation upgrades are only available for digital deluxe edition purchases. It is not available in other versions such as a physical standard edition or physical deluxe edition. Also, there are no announced plans to sell the upgrades separately. Kindly note that only the digital deluxe edition purchases on PlayStation platforms include both the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 versions of the game. Now, if what you got is the digital deluxe edition, they can confirm that you should be able to access the PlayStation 5 version of the game on your PlayStation 5 console. So again, just be very wary with how you're going to be purchasing editions in this game. Again, I know a lot of people are still going to have to wait a fair bit of time. Well, I say a fair bit of time, but it's not really going to be that much of a time to still play it on, of course, the PlayStation 4, etc. A lot of concerns are still surrounding that move as well as to how different the game will look on those consoles. And to be fair, I've seen it multiple times before. I genuinely don't believe there's going to be a significant difference, but again, for the most part, as far as gameplay goes, and maybe certain restrictions will probably be implemented, but again, we'll just have to wait and see. But as I say, if you are purchasing this game on your PlayStation 4 with the intention, of course, to upgrade to the PlayStation 5 in the very near future, and you don't want to buy the game twice, basically just be very wary with which version of this game you go ahead and purchase. Now, what is interesting from seeing all this gameplay today especially as well is that certain things from this game were removed, and if they haven't been completely removed, they've actually been completely redone. And one of the things that were very interesting that has actually been brought up is how initially with the character customization, the presets actually showed all of the characters if you were smiling, whereas now they have a very serious face. So that would be an example of something that has slightly been tweaked. But some things that were removed in this game have actually caused a lot of fans to just completely go nuts, in the sense of why was it removed? And Quidditch is one of them, but the second thing that was removed is even more bizarre because again, it was initially in the game and it's actually a very big part of the series, of course, as far as the Harry Potter world goes, and they decided to remove it. So check out the video that you see on screen right now to find out what's going on there.